Good morning students, welcome back in our science online class. Today we are going to learn some new methods to separate out the mixtures. In previous videos we already have seen the different methods like threshing method, winnowing method, hand picking method, some decantation method to separate out the mixtures. Now today one more method is there. So this is the loading method. See students, sometimes we get the water from the rivers, ponds and lakes. And this water sometimes unclear water, or we can call the muddy water. So this muddy water is because some clay particles are suspended in water. And due to these clay particles, the water looks muddy, and this water is unfit for drinking. So how to get this muddy water, or how to get pure water from muddy water? So by decantation method also we can get this water pure, but decantation methods take more time to settle all the impurities at the water. So same thing, now we will, same water, this muddy water, we will we can separate out the mud or particles, or we can call the clay particles at the bottom. But method is different, and that method's name is loading method. Now we are applying load. Now whatever the clay particles are there in muddy water, these clay particles are very light in weight, and these all particles are suspended in water. Whatever the clay particles are there, mud particles are there, they are very light in weight, and all these particles are in water or suspended in water, and they take more time to settle at the bottom. So how to settle down all these clay particles within a short time? So with the help of load, or with the help of loading method. Now see here, so loading method is used to settle down the suspended particles quickly in water with the help of alum. This process is called loading method. Now see, in this method alum is used. Now this method I will explain with the help of one example. Now see student, this is a beaker, and in this beaker water is there, so that water contains the clay particles, or we can call them muddy water. Okay, so clay particles, fine particles are there, soft particles are there, which are suspended in water, and these particles will take more time to settle at the bottom. So just you have to do one thing, you can take one thread. Now how to settle these particles at the bottom of the beaker or bowl? Now see, just you can take one thread, long thread you can take, and one end of the thread you can use to tie the alum. Alum is turti. Okay, do you know turti? Yes. So you can take the alum and tie alum at the one end of the thread, and another end of thread you can hold with the help of your finger, and just you put the alum in water with the help of thread, and just you rotate clockwise 2 to 3 times. So while rotating, what happens? The alum dissolves in water. And some part of alum, okay, dissolves in water, and that alum brings the clay particles, okay, or that alum stuck to the clay particles, and the clay particles become heavier, and due to the heaviness of the particle, the particles settle at the bottom. now see here in next picture you can see, so whatever the particles are there, that all particles, clay particles settle down due to the loaded with alum. It means that alum stuck to the particles. Okay, whatever the clay particles are there, so alum stuck to that clay particles, and due to that the weight of clay particles become heavier, and due to heaviness the clay particles settle at the bottom, and you will get the one layer, that is the clear transparent layer of water, and then at the bottom you can get the clay particles. Okay students, so when you will get the clear layer of water, that layer you can remove by the decantation method, and this way you can get the clear water in another beaker with the help of loading method. Understood students? So this is very simple method you can do at home. Okay students? Now next method, to separate out the soluble impurities from water. Now next example is filtration. So next method we will see now, filtration method. Next method is filtration method. In this method students, you need one filter paper to remove the insoluble solid impurities. Now what is meant by insoluble impurities? For example students, dust particles, sometimes the dust particles remain in the water. The process of removing insoluble solids from a liquid by using a filter paper is known as filtration. So the process in which the insoluble impurities like solid removed with the help of filter paper, this process is called filtration. Now filter paper is what? So filter paper means, this type of filter paper is available in the lab. So this type of filter paper has thousands or millions type of tiny holes. Okay, this filter paper has millions of tiny holes which we cannot see with our naked eyes, but with the help of microscope we can see. So these tiny holes allow only the liquid things or liquid substances like oil, petrol, then water, but this filter paper will not allow the solid impurities which are insoluble in liquids. So that's insoluble solid things remain on the filter paper, and filter paper allow only the liquid particles. So this process is called filtration. So this process I will explain to you with the help of one figure which is already given in the textbook. That figure also you can use. Now see here students, this is the figure. Okay. Now you can see the separation of mixtures. Now see what things you require for the filtration. So you need one filter paper, and that filter paper, with the help of filter paper you have to make the cone. So how to make cone? So I will show you. So this is the one filter paper. So you have to fold in this way, make it half, two parts. Okay, make two half equal parts. So fold in this way. Then again you have to fold the one. Again you have to fold. Then you will get the two half circle, semicircle like this. Okay, and then you will get the 4 layers. So 3 layers you can take one side and 1 layer another side, and just you press middle part of the paper. So you will get this cone shaped structure. So this cone shaped structure you have to place in this funnel, glass funnel. Okay. So this filter paper is very important to filter the solution. Okay. Now see here, this is one glass funnel. Okay, this is the glass funnel, and this is the filter paper. You have to fix in this glass funnel, and this is one beaker you have to place at the bottom or under the glass funnel, and with the help of this stand you have to fix the glass funnel. Okay, now you can make one mixture. So you can take the clay particles, otherwise sand particles, or you can take the chalk powder also. Do you know chalk powder? Yes, everyone knows. So you can just do one thing. You can make the chalk solution. So how to make chalk solution? Take water in a beaker and make a powder of chalk and put in the water and just stir it. So what happens? The whole water becomes milky, because the whatever the chalk particles are there, that all chalk particles are solid and they are not dissolved in water, so they remain as it is in the water and the water becomes milky. So that milky waters you can pour on this filter paper. Okay, you can pour on the filter paper. So what happens? This filter paper allow only the water through the tiny holes, but whatever the chalk particles are there, that chalk particles are solid and that particles remain on the filter paper. Whatever the chalk particles are there, that chalk particles remain on the filter paper, so that is called the residue. Whatever insoluble things which are present on the filter paper after filtration, so that is called the residue. And which liquid you get in this beaker, that is called the filtrate. Understood? Now two things you have to keep in mind. One is filtrate and one is residue. Residue means which things remain on the filter paper during the filtration. Okay, so that whatever solid impurity is there, that solid impurities is called residue. So here in chalk solution, whatever chalk particles are there which are remain on the filter paper, they are residue, and these filter paper allow clear transparent water, so that is called the filtrate. So filtrate is water and residue means your chalk particles. Okay, so in this way you can remove the chalk particles from a solution of chalk and water. So this method is useful to remove the chalk particles from the water. Understood? So you will get here clear water. So this is the one method which is very useful to remove the solid impurities. One more example I will give you. See students, while every day we drink the tea. Okay, so while making tea we add the sugar in water and then we add some milk and then we add the tea powder. So after boiling, whatever sugar is there, that sugar dissolved in water, but tea powders are insoluble in water. These are the solid particles which are insoluble in water. Sugar solid but dissolved in water. Okay, so this tea powder we filter with the help of strainer. So when we filter this tea, okay, so whatever the tea powder remain on the strainer, so that tea powder is your residue and your tea, liquid tea, is your filtrate. Means you remove the unwanted tea powder and you get the filtrate. So that filtrate we use for the drinking. Okay students, so this method is called the filtration. Again, filtration is very important. For example, sometimes in our society during the rainy season the water comes dirty, yes or no, through the tap. So we use the cotton cloth to filter that water. So that cotton cloth will not allow the solid impurities, just that cotton cloth allow the liquid. Okay, that is called the pure liquid. Okay students, so these are the examples of filtration. Next method, students, so you can see here, this is the example of tea strainer. Already I explained to you the separation of used tea leaves from preparation tea by the process of filtration. So this is the strainer. So this tea strainer having the wire mesh and filter. So this filter having the many tiny holes. We can see also. Now when you pour the tea containing tea leaves, so this strainer allow only the clear tea in your saucer, and whatever tea leaves are there, that tea leaves remain on the strainer, and that is called your residue, and this is your filtrate. So clear, student, what is mean by residue and what is mean by filtrate. Okay. Now next one, evaporation. Do you know, students, what is mean by evaporation? Yes, evaporation is a process in which the water changes into water vapors by heating. So this process is called evaporation. See, students, this process is very important to get the or to separate out the substance. Now for example, in filtration method we can remove the solid impurities, but what about the soluble impurities? Now see, students, for example, if you take the solution of salt and water, if you take the solution of salt and water, so salt completely dissolved in water. When you take the water and pour some salt, so salt completely dissolved in water, means salt is soluble in water, and after some time we cannot see the salt. Then how to separate out salt and water? Definitely you are saying by evaporation. Yes, by evaporation process we can get the salt. It means that whatever soluble impurities are there, soluble impurities means those substances are dissolved in water. How to separate out that substance from the water? So we can separate out these soluble impurities with the help of evaporation method. Now one thing we can do, we can heat this water. Okay, students, so just you need one gas burner, or you can take a candle. So with the help of candle you can provide heat to the beaker. So what happens, due to the heat water starts boiling. Okay, and due to boiling water changes into water vapors. So just you provide the heat to the solution till the water completely evaporates. When the water completely evaporates, the salt which was present in the liquid that remain at the bottom of the flask. So this is the one method to remove the soluble impurities by the evaporation. Okay, so evaporation is the process in which the water changes into water vapor by heating. So do you know, students, every day we eat the salt. Do you know sodium chloride, chemical formula NaCl. So this sodium chloride or salt we obtain or we get through the seawater. Now how this process is there? So do you know the seawater? So near the seashore or near the sea corner they make the pits. Okay, and then you can see here, see, students, here near the seashore or sea corner they make the small pits, and sometimes what happens, due to the high wave of seawater, this water comes into these pits and stay the water there only. Okay, because whatever the depth is there of pits, so in that depth the water stagnant, and due due to the heat of sun, water evaporates and the salt left behind. Okay, so in this way we get the salt by the process of evaporation. Okay students, so common salt is obtained by the process of evaporation of sea water. Sometime the question may come to you, how the salt is obtained from sea water. So you can explain this short process. Okay students, so today we'll stop here. I hope you understood the evaporation process as well as filtration and loading method. So we will stop here. Remaining part will continue in our next video.